moments later.
No, I watched a movie recently that starred a girl who once shat on her husband's bed. And you know, the problem is oh no, not Where the Buffalo Roam, not Gonzo, not Leaving Las Vegas. What is the other one that Hunter S. Thompson wrote, starred Johnny Depp? And
well, Fear and Loathing.
Not Fear and Loathing, but hang on a second. I can't believe I can't remember the name of this movie.
Are you talking about the film where they met? Where Amber Heard and Johnny Depp met?
I do believe it is Where They Met.
Yes. Rum Punch?
Rum Punch, thank you. Or is it Rum Diaries? Rum
Diaries.
Right? Yes. Love that movie. Phenomenal movie. And yes, Amber Heard is gorgeous in that movie, and you understand his attraction to her. But you know, yeah, she shit on his bed, and she accused him of having a jar of cocaine. A jar. It's like, bitch, you just jealous. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
well, she should be, because she's only hired because she's hot. She's not a good actress, really. I mean, she's made like maybe 1 or 2 good movies, and she's just hot. That's why in the remake of The Stepfather, she's only in a bikini.
Yeah. No, and I'm wondering, for Rum Diaries was was our beloved movie producer Harvey Weinstein behind that? Is that how she got cast? Let's see, Rum Diary. Here we go. I'm curious if Harvey Weinstein, and I don't even know if IMDb still acknowledges Harvey Weinstein in anything, but
does any of that affect your reviews? Anything with her in it, or anything with some of these other people in it? Knowing
I'll take my shots. Well, look at this. So in the movie Rum Diary, none other than Adolf Hitler as himself is credited in that movie. Because there's footage of him. John F. Kennedy is credited in that movie.
That's right.
So, you know, to sit here and say, oh, you know, because of one person's involvement, I will still typically watch a movie. And I'll tell you, somebody that I used to hate, but he's grown on me, and I grow, you know, I enjoy his movies now. But I don't see in the production list at all. I don't see Harvey Weinstein.
I don't think he worked on that.
Okay.
I think that was like an independent type of thing, but it wasn't Miramax. I don't think.
Okay. Samuel L. Jackson, couldn't stand him. Just couldn't stand him.
Wow. Okay.
Could not stand him. I really enjoy his movies now, and I enjoy him. But a long time ago, I don't remember what it was, but he said something that offended me, that bugged me. And like, you know, not in a movie, but said something publicly. And I was like, screw that guy. And I didn't care for him, didn't watch his movies. But after seeing like enough Quentin Tarantino flicks and different things that he was in, I'm like, okay, he's grown on me. And everybody loves the motherfucker Samuel L. Jackson now.
Right.
So he bugged me at first. And I don't follow him. I don't acknowledge, you know, or not acknowledge. I don't kind of keep tabs on his personal life. I just enjoy his movies. If I did, maybe I would, or maybe I wouldn't like him. And just the less I know about these actors, the better, because it will impact my wanting to watch. And so, like, Jamie Lee Curtis, I am not in line with her views on a lot of things politically, but I was still going to watch the new Halloween movie. And I shouldn't have. I should have used my better judgment and said, no, screw her and that movie. And it would have saved me a lot of heartache, because that movie was an abomination. But you know, I still watch the movie because I respect her right to her opinions, and she hasn't hurt anybody with her opinions, and she's standing up for the things that she believes, and that makes her nothing but a patriotic American. If anybody who ever bashes America or is anti-American, I won't support them. I won't go to there. And I'm not a one of the, like isolationists or saying, that screw the rest of the world, but I am America first. There's no question about that. And I am proud of, one, I'm wearing, a Marine Corps sweatshirt. I served in the military. My daughter's in the Navy. My son is about to be in the Air Force. I have a lot of other family who've served this country. And it is, I don't care what anybody says, this is the best country on the planet to live. It provides the most opportunity. Does it have its flaws? Yes, but it does provide the most opportunity in the world. And you can say, oh, this country or that country or whatever, but they have their problems too. Let's not kid ourselves. And and then people, I'm gonna go. Who was the one? Was it Alyssa Milano who was like, oh, I'm not gonna drive Tesla anymore because I don't agree with
with Musk.
But yeah, okay. But I'm gonna go drive a Volkswagen
created by the Germans in World War II to give the Germans a cheap car to buy, and Hitler authorized it.
Yes. you are supporting the
Dumb
Nazi agenda,
ass.
Alyssa. Yes. So know your history before the shit comes spewing out of your mouth. So Alyssa Milano, that's one I would not go support her movies, just because she argues her point. She stands up for what she believes, but she has no freaking idea what she's talking about.
No,
and
she's pretty clueless. And it's the one that I wouldn't support recently. And this is, Jonathan asked me if I wanted to review this series, and it was Kevin Sorbo. And even though I liked Hercules, I like Call the Conqueror, I liked the Dramata, I liked all that stuff, it wasn't until he went nutty religious that all of a sudden him and his wife, and I'm atheist, started saying that atheists should be killed, that we're useless, and that we should be murdered. And so when like the Mahal brothers out here had him in a movie, I couldn't support it. I wouldn't promote it. I wouldn't do anything. And some people were like, but he's a very nice man to me. But I've seen your post. You got a giant freaking crucifix that's this big on your neck. And it's like, well, of course you're going to like him. He's the same as you, but he hates me. But I did watch today his Left Behind that he starred in and directed. And because I like the Left Behind movies, and I actually thought it was pretty good. And, as far as the Left Behind movie goes, but it's I can't, if you're wishing death upon me, and I haven't wished death upon you, what did I do to you? I haven't done anything.
And now, and I'm not condoning that. I have to plead ignorance on this, because one of those movies that you listed that he was in, I have not seen one of them. I don't know. I can't sit here and speak. Maybe I've seen something he's in. I don't know, but I've not seen any of those movies. But now we know in this world, there are religious groups that if you don't agree with us, death to you, like, and maybe I'm wrong, but Muslims, there are things that you hear out of, countries in the Middle East that are Muslim countries, that it's like, well, you either, if you don't agree with the Quran, if you don't go and pray 3 times a day or whatever, all these things you have to do, that you need to die. And, I disagree with that. But if Kevin Sorbo, and I'm taking your word that he truly did say these things, I'm not questioning you at all.
Oh, it's on YouTube. It's interviews with him and his wife. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not questioning that. I've not heard it because I've not done the research. I don't like searching out things like that to find out things about people. I don't want the drama in my life. I don't need the drama in my life. And that's why when I do hear it, it really turns me off from somebody. So that's why the less I know, the better. But if he did come out and say those type of things, they are And I'm just going to say this. Regardless, you can interpret and dissect the Bible any way you want. You could do the same thing with the Quran, whatever book the Jews read. You can do it with all of them. You can interpret them and dissect them any way you want. But in my opinion, a good Christian does not judge. You let God do the judging. Okay. And so it's not for me to determine whether somebody should die, whether somebody should live, and suffer or whatever. It's not that, those decisions are not for me. So I think if you want to be a good decision, you just wish everyone health and happiness. That's really, but the bottom line is, even if you're an atheist, I think you really just want, if you're a decent person, you just want everybody to be healthy and happy.
Well, that's it. But look at it. Okay, so look at it this way, and then because I also want to talk about your filmmaking and stuff like that too before we go. Sure. Is, let's say, and there's more than this, but let's say there's 1,000 religions. Okay, I am an atheist to 1,000 of those religions.
Yeah,
a Christian is atheist to 999 of those religions,
or even in a sense also still 1,000, because if you're an atheist and you're an atheist to all 1,000 of them, you have a belief. Your belief is that there is, once you die, that's it, you're done. So I mean, in a sense, that to me, that is kind of categorized as maybe not a religion, but when you're looking at, you're saying, well, there's Christians, there's Jews, there's Muslims, there's atheists. So, you are being, you're saying it's 1,000 other beliefs are a title, but you're saying 1,000 other beliefs are wrong, because your atheism is a belief that you have that there is no religion, there is no afterlife, there is no God.
Right. So if a Christian is saying this is the right one and there's 999 others, you better make sure that you're believing in the right one. Because as far as you know, the guy that prays to a cow is going to get in before you. So,
correct. And that's where, and I get I understand what you're saying. And that's to kind of wrap up, a synopsis of my beliefs are that I kind of think, if you look at, and I have I've had in my life some good friends that are Persian. And we've talked quite a bit about like the Quran and the Bible and the differences. If you boil it all down, all these religions, if you boil them all down, most of them, it's about a God. You can call him Allah, you can call him God, you can call him whatever you want, but it's about a God. And it's about getting to this ever, eternal paradise of going there after you die and being with everyone that you've lost, everyone that's left this world. It's about going and being with them. There are religions that go, okay, when you die, you get 13 virgins. There are religions that go, you have to climb this ladder and do these certain steps and go on missions to get there. There's religions that say you have to spread the word, you have to donate money, you have to do things. I don't believe there's a criteria in my mind. I do believe there's an afterlife, and that is a different show that we could talk about for hours and hours and hours, because of things in my life that I have kind of witnessed, things that I've experienced. And I always truly question, and I question to this day churches and the hierarchy of religion. It's a money-making machine. I have different views on why religions were created and stuff, but I do believe in an afterlife. I don't think that once we leave this planet that we're gone for good, just because of some other things I've experienced and witnessed, and things that, crazy enough, I took pictures of that are mind-blowing. So I do believe in that, but I think that the idea that you have to do certain steps or you have to believe in certain things, I do think are a little off the rocker. And I do even think that, because if you like read the Bible, it tells us to seek knowledge and to learn. And what does that mean? We want to seek out knowledge, and to educate myself. That means that I am supposed to question things. I am supposed to look for proof in things and scientific reason why things are, why things exist. And until in our lifetime, God comes down in what other form and shows us with my eyes water turning into wine, or walking on water, or seeing the rapture, I just have to have faith. And so I think all these religions and their extreme beliefs, I don't buy into that stuff at all. And I wish that they could all just kind of come together and stop wanting to kill each other. That's what I wish, and I think even if you're an atheist, I think let's, you don't believe because you haven't been shown the proof that there is. And it's like you believe that 2 + 2 is 4 because you can see that. That's verifiable.
Well, to me there is no proof. There's none. Literally,
and okay,
zero. Like you couldn't.
I respect that, and I accept that, because the proof that we as Christians have is a book.
Well,
written by man. There's
literally written by man, and faith is actually the definition of nothing. So it's like nothing equals faith, faith equals nothing.
Well, and that's why it's not just faith, it's faith, hope, and love, and so you're hoping, but anyways, all that, I don't want to spend all night on that stuff. But
no, because we're actually talking about what we said not to talk about.
Yeah, no, but I think, but this is it. I think the thing is, we could talk about this type of stuff even on my channel, on my Wake the Dead, which is, it's funny talking about religions, and the show's called Wake the Dead. But I think it is okay to talk about that stuff, as long as doing it in a respectful fashion where we're not being derogative. I'm not sitting here saying everybody that is associated with any one religion is bad. I accept all of them. I accept their beliefs, and I wish them nothing but health and happiness. That's all I wish everybody, and the war between Hamas and Israel, I wish that war would stop. I don't want to see Israel wiped off the map. I don't want to see all of Hamas killed. I want to see Hamas change their attitude, toward, and I want to see Jews change their attitude. I want to see them come together. I want to see everybody healthy and happy, is all. And so I think religion, just like politics, there is manipulation of the public in those to suit their needs in a money making. It's all about money, it really is. But I think it is okay to talk about this stuff, as long as, we're not doing it in a derogatory or disrespectful fashion. And that's, healthy debate is always good and okay. But that's yeah, enough about that. Your segue to filmmaking, sir.
So,
or final thoughts. I don't want to prevent you from having final thoughts.
No. It's because I could go on about it, and I, I would rather.
Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree that everybody that walks this earth deserves health and happiness? I mean, unless you're like a pedophile. I'm not talking about criminals and stuff, but I'm just saying in general.
Yes.
At birth, when you are a baby who has done nothing to hurt anybody in the world aside from stretching out your mom's twat. You and I kid. I make jokes from time to time. That's what you get on my channel. I kid. If that type of joke hurts, you might not want to tune into my channel. But no. Anyways, at birth, you come into this world and you've done nothing to anybody, and at that point, you deserve nothing but health and happiness.
Well, there you go. And I would agree with that. Yeah, unless you're Hitler or Jeffrey Dahmer or
exactly. Yeah. And those are things that come later on, not at birth,
Yeah. So actually, maybe if they did have that, maybe they wouldn't have turned out the way that they were, but who knows?
Correct. No, very true. Very true. And that's why, back to Mark Wahlberg, you know, he was just like George Washington, he was a victim of the time.
George Washington.
He owned slaves.
Okay.
But that's what wealthy white people did back then. They owned slaves. So did he have faults? Yes. Was he a bad man? Maybe, maybe not. I don't believe so, because he treated his slaves pretty well. But you know, but he was maybe in a sense a victim of the time, because that's just the way the world.
Yeah, it's a acknowledging that he had them, but knowing that it was wrong. But back then, it wasn't.
It was looked at differently. Yes.
So,
and so,
but we today have to say, we have to look at it, which it is, that it was wrong. That slaves is
correct. I'm not justifying. Yeah. I'm not saying he was right for owning slaves. But we learn from history. We learn from our mistakes, and that's where, as a country, we don't have slaves anymore. You know, and we're trying. It's not going to happen overnight, but there will be a point in the future where we get to harmony amongst all the races, in because, like I've said before, we're all going to look Filipino. And I stole that from a comedian. I don't remember who, but it was very funny.
Well, you know, in one day, maybe if we all just drink a Coke, we'll find love. That's from that commercial. If we all just drink a Coke, it's like the 70s or something like that. That if we all just drink a Coke together, we'd all live in harmony.
And that's funny, because Coke gives me the worst heartburn ever.
Not Diet Coke in your case, though.
Diet Coke. There you go.
So you're doing the movie reviews, you've got the screeners, you're going to the previews, you're doing all this stuff, you're right up there. The next step is film.
Yes.
So you were in AXEMAS 2, which was my film, and I'm hoping to have you in the beginning kill of AXEMAS 3. And so thank you. Thank you. Please don't lose any sleep over it, but please think about it. And then of course you're in other people's movies, Tom Devlin. So you've been in some of Tom Devlin stuff too, who we love. And I have here two of your posters. So I have the Clown Hotel Massacre poster and the Bread of Wickedness poster.
Yes.
So explain, and you also have it's just not these two. You also have Sacred Heartland and Wild Game. So how does one go from being a YouTuber to a filmmaker? Explain that to me, please.
So, and it's funny because last night I had the privilege of attending a movie premiere. A good friend of mine, a lovely, lovely man. I love this guy. Mr. Jose Prendes, who's also a YouTuber. He's a filmmaker first, YouTube second. But he just had a premiere of his movie. It's in limited theaters across the country right now, called Monster Mash. Came out yesterday. So there was a premiere last night that I was at. And on the way back from that premiere, I was with Phillip, Fluffy Gamer, and I was saying it was so funny because had we not that one day decided to start a YouTube channel, we wouldn't be there. I would not know you. I would not know Jose Prendes, who we saw his movie last night. I would not have ever met many, many different people. And so through YouTube, we met Cinestalker, Danny. It's funny. I feel like we're all like rappers. We all have these YouTube names. So get with the program, John. If you're John Ward, Dark Park Films, you need to be maybe the Dark Ward or DW or JW or JWD or something. You need a mantra, you need your nickname. So I task you with that.
Okay, I will think. When I was in middle school, I was known as the Holy Cow. I had a jacket, a black jacket that had a white collar, like it went like that, and I would flip it and zip it so it looked like a priest, and I would bless people, and I'd be the whole, and I would moo while blessing them.
That's funny. That is funny.
So, but I don't know if that would work so well these days.
It may not, but it is hysterical, so it may work still. But so anyways, if I refer to people, it's their YouTube handle. Understand that I do know their names for the most part. But so we met Cinestalker, who I just recently learned how he got his name, because he was stalking Wet Movie One, and Wet Movie One said he was a stalker. I think he called him like a Cinestalker, and that's, I think, how Cinestalker got his name. But so, and then through Danny we met Wet Movie One, and then through Wet Movie One we met Cool Duder. Through Cool Duder we met David Sterling, and then through David Sterling we got to be on set of a movie, Devil's Domain. I did a video doing some behind the scenes footage and interviewing the director Jared Cohn and producer David Sterling on that film. And during that time hanging out with David, I had told him an idea I had for a movie that took place at the Clown Motel, because I had recently visited the Clown Motel. I just happened to stumble across it as I was driving on a road trip with my wife. We drove up the coast of California to the Bay Area, and then drove across the 80 over to Reno, and then down the 395 and in Nevada, and wound up at the Clown Motel. And I thought, man, there's a cemetery right next to the Clown Motel. This would be a phenomenal place to make a horror movie. So just sitting there talking to David one day, David goes, well, why don't we do it? Or no, he said, why don't you do it? And I said, well, I'm not really, sure or whatever. And so, and this is why, how David, the reason David will have a producer credit on the film, because David was not hands-on with the film at all. David introduced me to Keith Parker, who wrote the film. He introduced me to Tom Knuth, who I ultimately decided to let direct the film, who I was going to hire to help me. Tom wanted to direct. I let him direct, as I was kind of using the Clown Motel Massacre film as my reintroduction to the film community, because last time I had done any editing, it was literally cutting tape, and that, we are in a digital age. And so the idea of I had no references as far as people to reach out to get a crew together or casting or anything of that nature. And if my chair is squeaking as I talk, forgive me. I do need to lube this chair up here.
Not hearing a thing, but if that's what you want to call it, lube in your chair, then
I do need to lube my chair. Yes. So yeah, so all through doing YouTube videos and meeting people, I stumbled across David Sterling, and he, allowed us to come on set and be extras for the film Devil's Domain. So there's like a party scene that we were extras in, and which was really cool because I got to meet the band Onyx. And the funny thing is, I think the lead singer of Onyx thought that I was Jared Cohn because I was wearing a New York Yankees hat. And Jared was, I think he wears a Dodger hat now because he's a typical bandwagon LA fan. Like, oh, move to LA, I got to wear my Dodger hat. But Jared Cohn, you used to see him wearing a Yankees hat. And so I think they thought, oh, he's the guy from New York because he's wearing the Yankee hat. So, because Jared is originally from New York. So, but being on the set of that movie and talking with David when I went, because we were there for the party scene, then I went back another day when they were shooting at the high school, and that's where I was talking to David about the Clown Motel movie, and he's like, oh, you should do it. And then so we set up a time to well, not really a time, it was David was going to contact me, and we were going to have like a conference call with Keith Parker and kind of go over the idea for the film, all the elements we wanted in it. And then Keith would write a treatment, and then send me the treatment and review it. And so it was funny because I was actually at Disneyland when David called me and he goes, I got Keith on the phone. And I was like, son of a gun. So I had to let my wife and kids go on a ride, and I stood next to the ride and had this conference call for like an hour. And then Keith sent over the treatment a few days or a week later or something. And it was phenomenal. It was exactly what I wanted. So I was like, that's great. Go ahead and write the script. He wrote it. And I was like, okay, this is cool. This is great. And at that point, then David says, okay, well, what are you going to do for crew? And I'm like, well, I don't really know yet. I'm just kind of figuring this out. I have a lot of friends and I can probably pull them along to help out, which is funny because the vast majority of my friends let me down. When push came to shove and I needed people to come up to be on set to help out, not a one all came along. So that they have to live with that they don't get to be a part or get credit in the film. That's on them. But so David says, well, I know this guy Tom. And so I was like, okay, cool. And then when we went and met Tom, David and I met Tom at Starbucks right across the street from Universal Studios. And we sat and talked about the film, what we wanted. And Tom had a certain asking price to be involved for the week. And I said, okay, I accept that because, you've been involved in films recently. And so I trusted that he was going to be able to help guide me in the right direction. So I said, okay, great. And come to find out, Tom Knuth was one of, he wasn't the like main camera in Devil's Domain. I think he was either second unit or third unit camera. And but he was shooting stuff on the set of Devil's Domain. So I had seen him with the camera in hand. So I said, okay, I know this guy. I know he knows his way around a camera. And so this is great. And I was excited when I saw him there. I thought, okay, how cool is this? So Tom says, we came to an agreement that night when we were sitting there at Starbucks. And Tom says, okay, let me take the script and review it. And he goes, I'd like to, put my own kind of fingerprints on it, my own touches, because I'm going to direct it, or at that point we hadn't settled that he was going to direct it, but he wanted to review the script, his script and possibly tweak it a bit. He came back with changes that I was like, yeah, no big deal. No big deal. All this stuff is fine. Like he wanted certain characters' names. Like Tasha Takosa plays Maya Friend. He specifically requested that her name be Maya Friend. I still have no idea why. He specifically requested that in the lobby we have a monkey on the desk, and Jesse would knock over the monkey, and the desk clerk Randy would say, "Be careful with my monkey," and she said specifically it had to be "the monkey is fine." For whatever reason, she couldn't say your monkey's fine or the monkey's okay or whatever. It had to be the monkey is fine for whatever reason. And so I was, no big deal, whatever, that's fine. You want, certain changes, things like that, fine. There are other things happen with that script that I don't really want to dive into publicly because it's going to do none of us any good. But there were other changes made that I was unaware of and not really happy about. And that maybe it was a valuable lesson learned at the time about filmmaking and us, maybe getting the things we want or having the comfort or the balls to tell somebody like, this is the way I want it done. This is the way it's going to have to be. And I remember one thing that David told me that stuck out. And well, he didn't really tell me this. It wasn't like, oh, whatever. It wasn't like you should do something this way. What he said was we were talking about certain things that Tom was going to want. And David was like, as a producer, you have to have a budget and you have to stick to your budget. You have to move the film along. And I said, okay, well, if things start happening, with Tom, I'll just rein him in. And David goes, no, you won't. because he didn't think that I had the balls to actually tell Tom, we're not doing that, or we're not going to do this. Tom had put in the script that the ghost, who was played by my wife, was going to have a makeout scene with one of the cast members. One, I knew no chance in hell my wife would do that. Two, I did not want my wife on screen doing that. And three, it wasn't in the script that I had agreed upon. And so I said, no, we're not doing that. There's another scene with a ham and a clown in a parking lot that you didn't want to do. And so I said, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So
to let people know who don't know, that's right. Yeah, that's me. So I got the call one day at work when I was supposed to be a PA. David asked me to work on the film. And I said, sure, I can be a PA, no problem. I'll help out, no sweat. And then I got the call. You're now the clown. The guy dropped out. You're now the clown. And so I was the killer clown. And yeah, and he wanted me to fuck a ham. But you know what? Today I would fuck that ham.
Yeah,
I'd have no problem with it. But back then, no, I was not going to fuck a ham.
Yes. And so, you know, and so my thing is, and a lot of people don't know me well enough, because I do try to be as accepting, and I don't try to be confrontational. I actually try not to be confrontational. I can be at times, but if there's something I have an issue with, I will tell you. And sometimes it may hurt people's feelings, sometimes it may not. But because David was helping me out with things, I had no reason ever to show David that side of me. So he didn't know that I could be that way. And on set, there were a couple times where Tom and I got into heated arguments. On other sets, I've got into heated arguments with people on set, because we all have the same goal, and that's to make a great film. And sometimes we have different views of how to get, you know, there. And, you know, there's just things that happen on set that we don't need to get into, disagreements that were had, and we got past them, and we got the film done, and we left that day. We left Tonopah on very bad terms, but we got done everything that had to be done. And then we met in Los Angeles with a good portion of the cast and David, and we celebrated, and we got past it. It was an amazing learning experience for me. But along the way, yes, you know, David introduced me to Keith Parker. David introduced me to Tom Newth. David introduced me to you. And, you know, because of that, you know, I've met a lot of other people and gone on to do other things, but would I have gotten into film if I never met David? I don't know, maybe, because I still would have met other people because of my friendships with, like, specifically Wet Movie One, who now, you know, we know many other people involved in film. But it was through that experience of, like, you know, David saying, you know, me telling him about this idea and him going like, why don't you just make it? Go make it. Why not? And I'm like, you got a good point. Why not? Let's go make it. Let's do this thing. And so, you know, we went and we got it done. And so I'm glad that I had, you know, met a bunch of people, and through Tom, because Tom had connections. He knew Ryan, who Izzy, he knew Tasha. He knew Kelly, who Kelly ended up being our line producer and our casting lady. And so she, you know, was able to put out a casting call, get a great cast. She knew a venue where we could do the casting call. And then we went there. It was a phenomenal turnout. We went and sat down at the NoHo Diner afterwards and went through all the headshots, kind of talked about who we liked, who we didn't, and then put out some phone calls. and put together a cast. So it was a real, for the most part, a very fun experience. But through conversations I had last night at that premiere with another director, and I'm not going to say his name, just because I don't know that he wants any of this out there. But I was talking with another, a legitimate, bona fide Hollywood director who a lot of people would know at least one of his films. He directed a film in 1994 that has still not been released because of legalities. So I said, well, damn, you're doing a lot better than I am, because I'm only at 7.5 years.
Because Cloud Motel Massacre has not come out yet.
Yes, no, and no, he's 30 years in, I'm 7.5. So we get the film done, and my thought was, I just wanted to make a movie. I wanted to be able to say I made a movie. I didn't care about title of director. I didn't care about title of cameraman. I didn't care about I did want my face in the camera at some point. I didn't care about what role. It was just, I had just planned on even a smaller role, but fit. It worked out to where I had, a decent little role in the film. And so I just wanted to be able to say I made a film. So it was whatever it took to get it done, and learning experience along the way. And but I met a lot of good people, got the film done. It was supposed to be, and I just want to be very careful about what I say here, because I don't want to be accused of lying or slandering anybody. But there was another party involved that said they were going, as long as I took care of production, they were going to take care of post-production. I took care of production. I have spent out of my own pocket a lot of money on this movie. I got back into town, and those terms changed. Then it became, oh, let's go halves on post-production. And I was not thrilled about that. I am not thrilled about that to this day. And we got to the point where we were getting the film kind of edited. And Tom Knuth, the director, cut his copy. And the reason he did that was so we could see his vision of how the movie should come out. He knew that wasn't the edit we were going to use. But if he had the right to all the music he picked and everything, that's the copy he would have put out. But he knew that wasn't going to be the one we put out. And so, but at least then I could see what his true vision was. And so we had that. Before we could get a final cut done, we were then threatened to be sued by, and you can go figure it out on your own. I'm talking to the viewers. I know you know.
Yeah, I'm actually friends with the guy, so but I won't say his name.
It's funny because I know a lot of people. I know somebody, very close personal friend of mine, who worked with this gentleman in the business, but in a different capacity, worked directly with this person who, like me, also agrees that he is a colossal douchebag. And so I don't care for this guy at all, but he threatened to sue us if we release the movie, because apparently he went up to the Clown Motel and gave Bob, the owner of the Clown Motel, like a $500 retainer, and had Bob sign this paperwork. Well, if you know Bob, if you ever interacted with Bob, if you gave him cash, he would have signed any damn thing you handed him. So in this other guy's agreement, Bob signed an exclusivity contract where nobody else was supposed to be able to release a movie at the Clown Motel for like 3 or 4 years. And so at the time I go, well, I don't have, nor do I wish to spend the money to fight the legalities, to hire a lawyer and go through all this. I don't have that in me. So we'll wait. We'll release the movie later. Um, that came and went, and that's done in the past. That other guy's released his movie, maybe a second one. I don't know. I've seen bits of his first one, and I don't. Maybe I'm biased, but I don't think it's very good at all.
I
And
I was at an after party, and he was there and did not realize who I was. He didn't realize that I had worked on Clown Motel Massacre,
okay.
that I was the clown. And so I said, "Oh, you're the guy." Well, you
That's
know,
funny.
I worked on the film, and I brought it up to him twice. So
Yeah.
but
Well, I've
yeah,
seen him, and I
that's
don't.
not cool.
I would prefer we don't mention his name. There's no
No,
reason.
no. I mean, I think, yeah, people could probably figure it out. There
Oh,
have
they
been
can go.
more. There's even a film that Mark Justice did that
Yeah.
I don't. It's not Clown Motel. They changed it to something like Blood Hotel. So
Yeah.
he even shot one up there, and I was there for a day to drive the producer to the airport. And so there are now multiple Clown
Yes.
Motel
Yes, there
movies,
are.
even if it's not called Clown Motel, it's a Clown Motel movie.
And there is supposedly, if you go on IMDb, a clown motel that has Tobin Bell attached to it.
Yeah.
So whether that comes to fruition or not, I don't know. But my thing is, it's a motel. It's a famous motel. We can make movies. If people like Clown Motel and they're clicking on it or watching a movie because it has the Clown Motel in it, they'll do the same with mine whenever it's released. So it is what it is. But beyond that, then once we got past that threshold, I got to a point where I said, okay, I'm going to get this ready to be wrapped up. And I wasn't in any hurry during the time that I was threatened to be sued, because why? Why bother? And I wasn't the other party involved that was supposed to take care of post production, didn't own up to their end of the bargain. And so I was kind of like, I did quite often have the attitude of screw that movie. And the only thing that kept bringing me back to it at all was the work that everybody else did on it, that you did, that all the cast and the crew and everybody. I do want to see it out there for that reason. And at this point, pretty much that reason alone. If it wasn't for that, I would archive it, and maybe 20 years from now they could release it, like New York Ninja, right? And where that movie was shot in the early 80s and wasn't released until a couple of years ago. But but I am going to get it out. But so I started putting it together, and I just reached out to people, to bands, going, hey, I need music for a movie. Anybody want to contribute? And it was funny because at the time, pretty much all I was getting was these hardcore, I don't even know what you call them. I just lump them all in as death metal bands. I know there's different subgenres of metal that I am unaware of all the names of, but they're just, most of the music I got was this death metal stuff. And so I did get a couple other bands that were like fit some more scenes better. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, then now I've had an issue with one of them and getting the release, the rights to do it, and or the rights to release the movie with that music. That became a big issue. And I mean, how many times can you send one person an agreement for them to sign, a contract, with them releasing for me to have the rights to use their music without getting a response? And so eventually I gave up on that and got it done. And I've been reached out to, and I won't again name names, but by multiple companies for distribution. But these companies are known for distributing movies, but never paying. Never the filmmakers never see a dime. So hesitancy there with releasing through them. But I may just go with one of them, or now my latest and greatest idea that came to light not too long ago, and I don't really want to talk about with whom at this point, but I've known some people for quite a while, but I just found out they have a new venture where I may be able to kind of distribute through or with their assistance, and I don't know which is the proper way to phrase that right now, but there is something going on, and I've got to take a trip out to Vegas to meet with these people again at some point here, and kind of watch the movie together and talk about some things and try and get that going. But I like to say with Clown Motel Massacre, and I know you generally asked how did I get into into filmmaking, and this is the really detailed long version of that story. And but anyways, at this point here, I would love to be able to go, oh, you know what, it's going to come out this day or that day, or I have intentions of releasing it at this time or that time. I've done that in the past, and I thought things were going through. And last year, I had it ready to go. And then all I needed was that stinking waiver, the rights to that song, which I never got. And it dragged out so long, I didn't get to release it last year. So I'm not, every time I try to put a time frame on it, it something slaps me in the face about it, and it doesn't happen. So I'm not going to say anything like that yet, but just know I am working on that. And I am doing what I can to get it released. The film is ready. It's done. It's cut. It's ready to go. And I'm going to need a new, I still need to cut a new trailer. The one that it'll probably wind up being similar to the original trailer, but like fine-tuned a little bit, and maybe with the new like music theme song and the new title credits and that type of stuff. So working on it, and hopefully it will be out soon. But the one thing I've learned, I mean, if anything at all I've learned in filmmaking, it is no matter what the final product is, no matter what the process is for making film, you must dot your I's and cross to your T's when it comes to the legalities. Get every waiver signed, get every release signed, get your permits signed, get everything signed, so that way you can't be sued. Get it all done correctly and legally. And it is 10 times harder to release and properly distribute a movie than it is to make a movie. That is for darn sure. But it's been a challenge. But like I've said, the Clown Motel Massacre has been a learning experience for me from day one, and an experience I'm glad I had. And I wouldn't change it because of the friends I've made, the experiences I've had, the lessons I've learned, and I've taken a lot of those and incorporated them into a new film. And one thing, and in a joking way, I have a little bit of beef with David Sterling, with Tom Knuth, anybody who was on set, and anybody else who knew about the production of the film and knew what camera we were using. Because if I was to shoot that film again, no way in hell would we have used that camera. So I went, and I had actually, this is funny, and I kid with David and Tom about it. I just wish they would have said something. So, and it's funny, I specifically remember a couple conversations, but one, it was like, David's like, okay, well, what are you going to shoot it with? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm going to go pick something up. I don't know. And David goes, okay. So not knowing any better, I go to Best Buy and I tell the guy at Best Buy what I'm going to do. And he goes, okay, well, I recommend this camera. And so I go, okay. And so I bought a camera. I don't remember what brand it was or anything. And then I told David, I go, yeah, I got this camera, but they have they had another one that was 4K that I thought was kind of cool. And David goes, well, do 4K. Do we need 4K? 4K, 4K, 4K. And so I was like, okay, all right. So I took the camera back, which would have been better because we would have actually been able to change out the lenses and it would have been more of a cinematic. And I got a freaking Sony Handycam that was 4K. And so that's what we shot it on, because at that point I just didn't have a knowledge of film cameras and what were accessible at a reasonable price, like Blackmagics or Reds or something of that nature. And with as much as that camera was abused during that filming, I almost thank God I didn't spend the money on a Red or something of that nature. But so yeah, we shot it on a shitty camera. And I just wish, and now in hindsight, that was a mistake. I wish somebody would have told me. But Tom goes, hey, what camera are we shooting it on? And I go, I've got it at home. And he says, okay, can you bring it? And can I have it so I can work with it and get used to it and learn the camera a little bit? And I thought, sure, okay, because I mean, learning like a Blackmagic from a Red, two very different cameras. You would, if you weren't familiar with it, you want to get used to it, test it out a little bit, understand. Okay, sure. So I bring him the Handycam and he kind of looks at it like, what the hell is this? But he didn't say like, are you out of your mind? He just said like, okay, and so that was it. We shot it so we could have it in 4K. And at the time I was like, okay, well, this is, we're doing like a micro low budget film here, maybe not micro budget, but low budget. And, if it looks like a shot on video, then fine. I wish we had done something different with that. So there's that. So, I mean, different lessons learned, through the process of shooting this. But no, we got done with that. And then, yeah, you and I and Miranda had some differences, argued politics, didn't talk for a while. You went and did
stupid ass shit.
Yes. And you went and we've all grown and learned, you learn to control our tempers a little more when, because we all get passionate about things. We were victims of the talking heads on TV, and we fell into their trap to make us upset at one another. And, but anyways, you had gone on to make AXEMAS, and then when you and I had began talking again, and you talked about doing AXEMAS 2, and I said, yeah, I'd love to, help out with whatever. I didn't care about being on camera, just help out with the production. And so then, yeah, I got involved with you with that. And, and I was, in between then did the thing with Devil's Domain, and, was on set, in different capacities for other, various films that were being shot like in Southern California and stuff. And just as like production assistant type things. And so then, we did AXEMAS 2, and then that's where I met Matt. And well, that's where you met Matt. Well, no, you met Matt at was it Indie Film Meet or like a film festival or some 24-hour film festival?
Yeah, it was like Terrifier or something, like the screening of a movie. I think like Drew Marvick was doing it or something.
Okay.
And Matt just happened to, he was just standing there, and
Yeah.
and we just happened to start talking. So yeah, so that's how he got involved. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And no, and I remember you had said, this guy Matt was coming over to look at the equipment you had, for shooting AXEMAS 2, and he came over, wanted to see like your lighting and that type of stuff. And and we met Matt, and then a while had gone by, and the anthology came up that we were that you had talked about with whoever. And so you mentioned that there was,
yeah, with Brad Twigg,
yeah,
with doing a found footage
yeah,
anthology that I thought I was more of a part of,
yeah,
and I ended up not being, and that still hadn't come out. And then I put together, and I'm hoping to release it this year, because God, it's been a couple of years. I'm I'm following right up there with Clown Motel Massacre
Yeah,
with
no,
this.
it has been over 3 years now, 3.5 years.
Yeah, uh you went out and shot for the anthology for the found footage one,
Yeah,
a short, and which just kind of lingered because we thought that it was going to go on to something else, and that was, you know,
yes,
Sacred Heartland, and
yeah,
we went out and shot that, and it just nothing happened, and
yeah,
I gave my couple found footage stuff to Brad, and just nothing happened,
yeah,
and so it was, and then you and I had our thing, and then when we met back up again, it was like, hey, have you done anything with Sacred Heartland? No, and so now it's like, oh, okay, cool, you know, it's weird enough.
yeah,
Let's put it on the Cosmic
yeah,
anthology I'm putting on, you know, Reign of Vibrant Screams, and that's where it is now. So I just have to shoot a couple things, and then it should be done. But it's a good little short, and working with one of the actresses from from Clown Motel Massacre, so that was
yeah,
nice
Jesse, yeah.
with
No,
Jesse. Yeah.
and and I'm not, in any way upset or disappointed, well, maybe a little bummed, I should say, but I'm not upset or disgruntled over the fact that it hasn't come out yet. I mean, because this was um in the middle of COVID, and
Well, that's where, yeah, it is right before COVID hit. Is I
yeah,
put the notice out on Facebook. I did the post saying, "Hey, any people who have a cosmic horror short, I'm putting together this anthology."
yeah,
Some people gave me old films. Some people made brand new ones. COVID hit, and then nothing was done. And then once
yeah,
COVID, I guess, was kind of done, things resumed. But it just, for personal and mental reasons, stuff hasn't happened like I wanted them to. That's the same thing with AXEMAS 3 and 4. That just stuff just hasn't moved forward, and
yeah,
but it will. And I'm happy with what we got. One of the I do get emails or messages from people saying, when is this coming out? Where you said it'd be out by now. One
yeah,
guy did pull his film, but I found another one. So we're okay with that. But it's
yeah.
but what you made was a good short. It's an interesting short, and it fits, I think, right in with some of the other ones.
That's good. No,
So, you
and
know,
the if I were to say that I do have any frustrations or disappointment with it, was that it was early September, or maybe very, very late August, when you approached me about doing a short for it. And you said, well, I just need it by the end of September because it's going to be released at Halloween. So I said, sure, okay. I have an idea for a film, and I can type up a script really fast, and I can whip together a cast and crew, simple little cast, simple little crew, and we can get it done. If I knew I was going to have 3.5 years, I would have, because there are parts of it, and any filmmaker, you watch a film, you can nitpick parts of it that you're not happy with. Um, the final scene, what happens at the beginning of the first and second act of it, it's a short, and I know, I mean, do you really, if you break it down, there is like a first act, a second act, and a third act. If you break it down, the third act I'm not thrilled with because it was rushed. In fact, the scene where um I'll just say two people die, not to completely spoil it for everybody, two people die. And I would have loved that to be, I would have loved to have a little more time with that. We were rushed that afternoon in getting that shot because somebody had to leave. because I had a replacement actor because, you know, my one actor was going to do it, bailed on me again, which we know is a part of indie filmmaking. Actors, you know,
Right.
flake on you at time to time. So I just would have loved to have had a little bit better chance to do that final scene. And the funny thing is, so I got to the point with Axis, with Sacred Heartland, after tweaking it so much, I got to a certain point where I said, I'm done with this movie or this film, this short. I'm done with this. In order to prevent me from losing my mind and trying to tweak it a little bit more here and there to fine tune it, because there was nothing else I could do with that footage, I literally deleted the raw. I no longer possess the raw for it.
What?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
No, because I got tired of, you don't understand. I get OCD about things, and I literally could not stop screwing with this film to try and make it a little better and better and better. But I was limited by the footage. I could only do what I could do with the footage I had. And
Right.
so because of that, I go, for my own sanity, I could no longer possess that raw footage. So I deleted it.
Oh my God.
So that film stands where it stands. It is where it is.
Well, and then we went out and shot that beginning and end, that kind of bookend segment. So it's even a little better now. So it's I just
100%.
I thought with the timeline that I gave you to say we need to have it by this date is the date that I was given.
And I'm not upset with you about that at all.
Oh,
that was Brad Twigg's timeline. Yes.
Yeah, I was upset with that because as much as I like Brad and I've worked with Brad before, is he came to me and said, "Do you want to make an anthology of found footage movies?" And I'm like, "Yes, I have 2 short films I can give you. I could talk to other people to see if they can make something or give you something." And he's like, "Okay, I just need it by this date." And then when you got yours done and it was sent to him, it just kind of sat there. And it was like, well, what's going on? Oh, well, I'm making this film. And then it was like 3 films later with him, and it's still not done. And I'm just guessing it's not. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to do my own thing.
Yeah. Well, and that's, you know, and so to that end, I made Sacred Heartland to give to you, to use for that. And that's why I didn't go anywhere else with it. The intention always was either for it to end up in Brad Twigg's film, and even at one point when Brad was not coming along, you had mentioned a while back about possibly a different anthology, and I was like, that's fine, whatever, and now you have the idea for the cosmic horror, and that's great. My thing is, I would just like it distributed out there at some point. That's all, all I really care about, but I made it with the intention of, putting it on the anthology with you. And so that's where it goes. And when it happens, it'll happen.
Yeah. And you're welcome to do whatever you want with it. That's what I've told people is I'm not like certain people that we know that will have a fit if you try to take your short out of their anthology or put it someplace else. So at least the people who did give me short, and this includes you, who gave me shorts, can go and put it into film festivals. They could put it into other anthologies if they want. They can do whatever they want. I just own Rain of Vibrant Screams, but they own the short, and just like you do. So but it will come out because the shorts are too good not to. It's and there's 2. I got enough shorts to make parts 1 and 2. So
nice.
Yeah.
No, and I have no intention with it. The story is what it is, and the story was told, and so I that particular film, I have no other thoughts or ideas or plans to do anything else with it. So so it's just it is there. It's but what I love about that is interesting little story when I went to shoot that film, my dad had said, you know, he wanted to be involved in a film. And so I said, well, I'm doing this short. You know, we're shooting it, you know, in Vegas. If you want to come out and be a part of it, you know, I can put you in. So I actually got my dad, who you met on set that day, and I got him to be involved in that film. And at the time, he had just gotten over pneumonia. Well, we had thought he had just gotten over pneumonia. He took the antibiotics and everything, but apparently it didn't completely kick it. And we shot those scenes in September. My dad passed away on November 5th.
Oh.
So just, yeah, a month and a half later, he passed away because that pneumonia came back and got him. And it's really sucked because he was in the hospital, but they had induced a coma because the pneumonia was so bad. They had induced a coma, and so he was sleeping. So it wasn't like we could go in and chat with him or anything, but I couldn't even go visit him in the hospital because of COVID. So because this was all, you know, COVID took off in February, March, you know, is when it really started exploding. And this was that August of 2020 that no, August that you told me of 2020, September that we were shooting it, and I gave it to you in early October of 2020 is when we did all that. And then yeah, and then he passed away November 5th of 2020. So and I'll never forget those dates because I think he passed away on Friday, and when was the election that year? Was it like 3 days after that or something? So he did not have to witness his beloved Donald Trump losing the election. So that
but he is in the movie though. He is in your movie,
yes,
which is
yes,
which is nice. It's a strange little scene of I'm sitting on the sofa reading a book, and then we got the mom, and then as Jesse, the daughter, leaves, and the camera just kind of goes past her dad, who's just there. We don't know
yeah.
why he's
Well,
there. He's just there.
but then when you the first time, and Jesse even comments, "Who's that?" and you're like, "What'd you say?" Because you know she's asking you, "Who's that?" and you're like, "Who?" or whatever the phrase was that you had said. And then as she leaves and the camera goes back by, he's gone. So if you know, if everybody pays, you know, close attention, the camera goes back by that chair where he was sitting, he's gone. So the reference is that he was like a ghost or a spirit following them. So
yeah, so you got him on film, which is good.
yes, no, and so
Yeah.
that's why to me, you know, and not only that, but for yourself and Cheryl and Michael and everybody who else was involved with it, I'd still like to see it out someday, you know. And so, you know, when that happens, it happens. But I'm not in a rush because, you know, my dad has passed, and so. But
I mean,
but anyways,
yeah, I mean, in some ways, it's good that you did have that time frame because you had to film it within those parameters, get him in the movie. If we had waited,
he wouldn't have. Yes, correct. If I had more time to plan it out and everything. But the part of the catch was too, going up to film on Mount Charleston, we were approaching winter, and we didn't have too much time before it would get unbearably cold up there. So when we shot up there in September, it was beautiful, even a little warm. But you know, we had the nice table there, and our craft service guy Greg did a phenomenal job whipping us up some sandwiches and things. And so
yes, those sandwiches were excellent.
Yeah, so
I remember
it was
that.
fun. I enjoyed. I had a great time on that set. The only bummer was that because we were supposed to have somebody else, and then they canceled, and then Mike Carney was a fill-in. Cheryl called him at the last minute, and he came and took the role of Rusty. He played Rusty. And so it's been so long, I forgot. It was Riley and Rusty. But he took the role of Rusty on the last minute, and so that worked out. But he had like to get to work, and so we had to like really quickly knock out that final scene there. And so I'm not thrilled with that. The footage, see, and this is it, because it's a found footage film. It is intentionally glitchy because the camera was damaged. It is intentionally shot to look like it was shot on a camcorder. So at times the lighting doesn't match, but that's intentional because that is a true found footage. If these were supposed YouTubers that were out just shooting a YouTube video, and so they were not there with camera equipment or lighting or diffusers and different things. So I shot it like that intentionally to look true to a found footage YouTube video. And so I'm okay with the lighting. I'm okay with everything about it, aside from that kind of, well, what was the final scene? We shot the wraparound there with the police station, which is now ultimately the true final scene. But I would have liked that to have been a little bit better. But you're right, that is, and I had never contemplated that. That is a very, as frustrated as I was, that I would have loved to have had more time to put it together. If I did, then yeah, I wouldn't have had my dad there to be able to be in the film. So blessing in disguise right there. See, there is a God, John. There is. Kidding. Joke. I knew I knew how you would react. It was beautiful.
Well, and then you had excuse me, you also shot a trailer for The Bread of Wickedness. And
oh yes, I forgot, in the middle, in between all that. Yes.
Yeah. And then you also have which Miranda worked on, and and of course, we met her on Clown Motel Massacre. And then you have Wild Game, which is your newest one.
Yes, and can I say, and I should have, talking about everybody involved with Clown Motel, I really should have mentioned Miranda and her efforts, because we didn't have a big budget and we paid her chump change for what she did, but she worked her ass off like 24 hours a day, and did for the hand she was dealt. She did a great job, and she was just an ultimate trooper, and owe her a huge debt of gratitude. So what was asked of her and what she really did, she performed phenomenally. And so I really she deserves a much more credit than she will ever get for that film. So she really was a lifesaver on multiple occasions.
Yeah, definitely.
But yes, definitely met her there. And so then I was sitting around one day and started having an idea for a movie. And so I said, okay, well, I'm gonna start writing this. And so one thing I learned about writing was, rather than, and there's different styles and different ways, obviously, to write, but rather than just starting page one and writing a full script, to being that I'm writing it myself and it's my story, I didn't feel like I needed to write a treatment. But what I did was I wrote scene titles. And so there was, scene, and it just went on with all the different scenes. I don't want to spoil it, because I do. That is, if Stanley Kubrick held on to Eyes Wide Shut for 50 years, I can hold on to Wild Game for as long as I need to get it. Or I'm sorry, not Wild Game. That was another one we're holding on to for a while, apparently. But I can hold on
Bread
to
of Wickedness
as long as I need. Because that script is my passion, and I've had that it's been a very interesting evolution of that script too. But so I came up with the idea, and the funny thing is, I had the idea for the story, and then I started going like, I want a good title. I want something. And you know, the funny thing, and I don't know if I've ever really talked about this with you or not, but I wanted something so blasphemous that it would really
Nice.
stand out. And so when you're seeking blasphemy, what's the best source you can go to? I opened the Bible and I started just kind of going through different scripture, and I came across and the words "the bread of wickedness" are a direct quote from the Bible. And so I thought, man, we're talking about a film that involves a lot of other things, but one element of the film is a form of cannibalism. And so to refer to the cannibalistic aspect of the film, the bread of wickedness, I thought was a pretty funny play on words. Because the film is about different walks of life coming together for one really screwed up way to celebrate. And it involves high art, it involves cannibalism, and that's, I don't want to say too much about it. It amounts to dismembering people and different things. And I thought that the bread of wickedness, I was like, that is phenomenal. And it's you know, I think I love the title. And I was even, Ben Stober had tried to talk me out of using that title because it was so blasphemous. But that's another conversation for a different day. I know where you know, your reaction to that, I understand. But you know, and we've had some private conversations about things with involving him and stuff. But you know, anyhow, that film, we shot a teaser for it, and we had some funding lined up that was going to allow us to shoot that for a budget of about $500,000. And because, and in fact, you know, well, the funny thing is, we shot that, and the timeline of you and I having our differences, we shot that teaser in February. My mom passed away in April. And so before we could even get the teaser cut, my mom passed away. And things kind of got put on hold. A few months later, my father-in-law passed away. Things got put on hold again. A few months later, my older brother passed away. Things got put on hold again. A couple months after that, I had a extended family niece who hung herself.
Oh, geez.
So, and then, so let's see, my mom, my brother, my father-in-law, niece, my wife's grandmother, my wife's aunt, and now since then, my other uncle and my dad have all passed away since I started writing this film. Every time I open up that script again to start writing on it, somebody dies.
Oh.
I shit you not. So take that for what you will. Am I ready to say, you know, people talk about The Crow being like a jinxed film or a cursed film or whatever. I have hesitancy of even opening that script because I shit you not, every time I do, somebody dies. And I don't want to lose anybody else. And it just, am I being superstitious? Yes. Is the film jinxed? I don't know. Is there such thing as curses? I don't know. But the timing of it all is very crazy. So that's been tough. But I want that film made someday, because I started out, the original script was about 80 pages, and it wasn't very layered, or it was more just kind of like gonna be like a simple horror film, like Friday the 13th, for example. We have a killer who likes to kill people. That's basically what you get in different places. He comes after him, he kills him. So a gentleman, great person, and I love that he was so candid about the script. Was going to play one of the leads, or maybe the lead in the film, and he, after I sent him the script to review, and he is a very knowledgeable student of film, and that's all I want to say about that, because I just don't want to even put his name out there right now, because he is not part of the film anymore. But he reviewed the script and he sent me his criticisms, and it hurt. It was like a dagger through the heart, because he sent me a laundry list of critiques. And at first it was like, this hurts reading this. But I understood where he was coming from and everything he said. And I took all of that to heart. And the majority of those things I went and either incorporated into the film and or re-looked at and maybe tweaked some things. And now the script is like about 130 pages. And so just adding different layers and different things to the film and taking out, there were certain things that I wanted to incorporate because I thought they'd be fun, but they weren't really necessary. So there were certain things I eliminated, lot of things I added, and added a lot of layers. And it was a lot of fun. Matt and I went and made a list, and we took every character and we say, what is this character's attributes? What is their personality? What are they contributing to the film? And we just went deep with every character to make sure that what they were doing had a reason. It progressed the story, and that there was going to be some attachment from the audience to that character. So when that character was killed, the audience would go, "Oh no." And so we spent a lot of time diving into it. And that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that. But in the script, I absolutely love the script. There are some things that I want to tweak with it now that some time has gone on, and I do want to, add some things, or maybe, tweak some things. So I'm okay with the fact it hasn't been made yet. But because of all the delays and everything, and COVID, we lost our funding, because it was kind of like, well, are you guys even really serious about this? What are you doing? And who would believe that, in the last, since 2018, I've had 11 people in my family die. Who would really believe that? So we kind of lost that funding. So we're trying to figure that out still. And as a result of that, we said, you know what? Well, okay, we can't do that, but let's go make a film for a no budget. We're going to make a film and just use my talents of writing and directing, Matt's talents of filming, and we brought on Justin, who also was, the second camera. And Justin is he has a very extensive resume in editing in Hollywood. A lot of shows and movies that people would know. And so bringing him on board was a phenomenal addition, and having a third outlook on things, because there was things that Matt and I disagreed on, and having that deciding factor. There were things that went my way, there were things that went Matt's way, now that we had the third vote. And so having basically a three-headed monster with me, Matt, and Justin, we went out and we shot Wild Game, which looking at the raw footage is amazing, and the cast did a great job. And the thing is, we said this has to be a project of passion, so we have to do it. We can't be feeling forced to do it. We have to, be passionate about it. And we went and we got a band to, that created 6 original songs for the film. One of the actresses in the film wrote the song that will play over the end credits. It's phenomenal. It kind of reminds me of the original Suicide Squad at the end, the song Heathens. Love that song. This has a similar type of vibe to it as the song Heathens. And so we have some great music, original music for the movie, that so we don't have to worry about, copyright infringements or anything. And amazing footage. And we're waiting for Matt and Justin to get the film cut, but they have their lives and their day jobs and their things going on. And so that'll happen when it happens. And that's where I'm at with that. I've made peace with that. I am, and I tell Matt, I'm anxious and excited to see it when it's done. But we shot, and I'm gonna break a bunch of people's hearts, and we'll see if anybody's watching that's involved. We had our main cast, and then we had a second cast, a second full cast. And I mean, it was tough coming up with this many people, because the credits on this are going to be by far my most extensive credits. The second cast was like 15 people that are getting completely axed from the film. So the scenes we shot with them are just gone.
Oh God.
We just didn't like the way they turned out. They're not on the level or on the quality of the rest of the film. So we're completely axing that. And so, as tough of a pill as that is to swallow, all the work we put into that. And so there was a fellow that we met in Vegas who supposedly owned like a video game or movie store or something at I think at the mall off of Maryland or something. And or Eastern, wherever that mall is. And he said that we could use his store to shoot a scene, and it was supposed to be like a virtual reality scene. And Wild Game was Wild Game because it was going to be a bunch of people playing a virtual reality game, and at the end you were going to find out none of it really happened. It was a video game. So spoiler alert to the story you will never see, because that footage is not going to be involved. And the sad thing is that scene includes Tommy Vegas, Jesse Lee Pauley, Sheila Krause, and many, many other actors from Vegas that you would probably know that I've forgotten right now. But the guy that said we could use the store apparently was moving locations, and somebody broke in or something, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, we even took him out to lunch and talked about what we needed and everything. And then he fell through on us. And then he's like, oh, well, you can use my house. And we're like, no, we need a freaking store, because we were going to portray it as like a place where you would go in, like a modern arcade where you would go in and not play arcade games, but play virtual reality games. And being that location fell through, we wound up shooting it at should I even say? I think it's okay. Robert, Sheila's dad, Robert Krause, is his name Krause? Sheila, because her mom, who is unfortunately dealing with cancer right now, I believe may have a different last name. But anyways, I believe it's Robert Krause. We shot it at their house because we had to do something. And this guy was like, oh, you can use my house. And I'm like, we're good. We need a location. And, if he wasn't going to come through, I didn't want to use his house, but then we needed a location. So Robert and, and Sheila were like, oh, come on. And so Sheila was going to be one of our stars. But that whole part is getting axed from the film because it just turned out a little hokey, and the rest of the film is so damn good. The
Not two
credit.
versions, no versions, like two versions of the movie.
No, 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 no,
No.
no, no. Because so that stuff was kind of a wraparound, because it was going to be going, well, really, you were going to see it at the end. I guess it wasn't a wraparound, it was just an end. Um, kind of a wraparound. There was going to be an element of it at the beginning of the film, but it's gone. Um, and so we need Matt and Justin to get done cutting what we have, and there are scenes that we're going to have with a dad and his sons in the woods, and they're going to be camping, and that which is actually, oh my god, screw me, I'm horrible with names, so forgive me, anybody who I've forgotten your names. Tom, oh, what's his last name, the security guard in AXEMAS 2. Haha, I don't feel so bad now because you don't remember either.
I should know this.
Tom, oh, what's his last name? God, Tom. I suck for forgetting. Tom.
I'm sorry, Tom.
Yeah, no, so am I. A phenomenal job as a security guard, taking the axe to the chest. And he is actually the one that introduced us to the location where we shot up in the mountains and stuff. There's too many Toms. Tom Devlin.
Fisco.
Tom Fisco. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, Tom.
And so, no, Tom, lovely gentleman, great guy. And Tom actually introduced us to Bridget, who Bridget is in the film. And Bridget is the one who composed the song that we'll use at the end credits. And because she is like a professional singer and model and many other, she's like a Jill of all trades. And and Tom was in that scene too. The end scene that's chopped, but Tom was going to play the kid's dad also. So I'm sure he's still willing to do it whenever we get to that part, but being that we're going to change ultimately how the film plays out, we are going to have some stuff to reshoot and things to do. But man, what was done up there, credit to Waleed from who works at Tom Devlin's Monster Museum, and Chris. So Waleed, I believe it's Ashty. Is it Ash? How you say his last name? And then Chris Asensio, I think is his last name. And I don't know what involvement Chris may still or may not still have with Tom Devlin. But I called Tom to I needed effects person for the film, and Tom was busy, but he sent me Waleed and Chris to work on the film, and they were phenomenal, and I cannot wait for the public to see the work that they did, because wow, the effects that they did, man, the blood pours and the open wounds are just amazing. So they did such a phenomenal job, and we shot it. We shot the film. We used one Blackmagic Ursa, a big old Blackmagic camera, and then we used two Blackmagic Pocket 4Ks, which are great little cameras on their own. But the quality of footage is just amazing. And throughout the process of filming, Matt was swapping lenses and doing different things to really, because it was project of passion and there was no time constraints like AXEMAS 2, where we were shooting and it was like or Matt wanted to change the lens for this or that or whatever, change the lighting. We had the time. We were able to do all that stuff. And so Matt was really, changing lenses here and there and here and there, and may have driven you bonkers, but it just I loved every bit of it. Just so many different shots, and what we did running 3 different cameras, and we always had 2 going. There was times where we had 3, but we had so many different angles of each take so that we were able to if if the actors couldn't deliver the lines exactly the same, but we really loved a take and we wanted to cut from one angle to another, we had that option. So the footage just turned out phenomenal. I can't wait to see. So each film I've done, or each project I've been involved with, is getting better and better and better. And I just can't wait for the world to see that. But the reason we did that was just to showcase our talents, so we can go and say, hey, producers, executive producers, money people, look what we can do with a tiny budget. So give us some money and then see what we can do. And so the goal is to get it out and then get back on the path of the bread of wickedness, which it says in the Bible, do not walk in the path of the wicked. Do not go there. And so one day we will go there. La, 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 la. We will go there. We will get this. La, 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 la. Borat. You will never get this. La, 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 la. And then he get this. My brother Milo. So anyways, it's been fun. It's been, I love being involved with film. I love being on set, helping out in any way. And that's why I've mentioned to you, whenever you do go shoot your other shorts, the things that you need to shoot for that anthology, if you need help, let me know. I'd love to come help out if possible. I just enjoy being on set. And that's what I told Tom Devlin the same thing, with the After Dark, was like, the real reason that I was there with the After Dark was that Preston needed a ride out. Fat Samurai guy needed a ride out to Vegas because his car was on the fritz, and like somebody else I know whose car does not get them from Vegas to California and back. But
this guy
yeah,
right
that guy right there. So
car.
So he messaged Tom and said, hey, I know Phillip, is it cool if he comes, if he's an extra? And Tom's like, yeah, sure. So then I came out and got to be a part of the After Dark, and cannot wait for that premiere later this month. Very much looking forward to that. We have already RSVP'd, and so we will be there. Looking forward to that. But I told Tom, if you need help, I'm not looking for a paycheck. I just enjoy being on set. If you need an extra hand, to move a light or do whatever, I don't care. I just enjoy being on set, being part of the creative process. I love it. And so that's why, I'm not set on being a director or being called a filmmaker. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just enjoy making art, and it is art, and we all get to, be a part of projects, and it's just a lot of fun. So so that's that. How long have we been going now? Are we at 3 hours yet?
We're more at 4 hours.
Oh, really? Nice. Hey, John, have fun editing this and producing this. I would imagine you're not going to do too much, just cutting out the beginning and the end and all the blasphemous crap that I was saying.
It will just be probably cut in half. That's all. Just make parts 1 and 2.
Oh,
just,
yeah, there you go.
Just make it nice and easy. I don't do any editing with this stuff, really. It just it's what happens. So and that's fine with me.
There you go. And
I'm just happy to do it.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just happy to do it. So
yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun, and this has been we have been talking about getting together for videos and stuff and doing things for a while, and hopefully we'll find the time to do some movie reviews or franchise reviews and different things and have some fun with that. No, I enjoy the conversation. I am very long-winded. If the audience hasn't noticed at this point, I enjoy talking about film and movies in general. And I enjoy a good conversation, even if it is things that we don't see eye to eye on. And that's one thing that for anybody who doesn't know, that John and I, since we met, and yes, David, courtesy of David Sterling, reaching out to you about helping out with Clown Motel is how we met. And we actually met for the very first time at a legendary spot called the Double Down Saloon. And was a bad place to try and have a conversation because of how loud it is in there. But
very loud.
I thought, what, so that way we're comfortable, we're meeting in a public venue for the first time, and all that. I thought it might have been a good place to break the ice and it was, but throughout the years, we have had many long hours, a lot longer than this, conversations about either film or politics or religion or different things. And I always do enjoy the good conversation, with people that are willing to entertain an argument from the other side without getting all up in arms. Those type of conversations, can be a lot of fun. And so I wish, I love your cats and the fact you have your cats, but there's times where it's like, I wish you didn't have your cats. We'd come over and watch the movies and have those conversations again. But
yes, because you're allergic, so that's
very much. And so if you see in my videos, I've got my door closed because I do, for whatever reason, we do have 3 cats. So 2 of them are good. One is the reincarnation of Satan herself, but 2 of them are great cats. And my wife and kids love the cats. I love the cats. I love animals. I hate hunting. I do support in not to get all political or whatever. I do support in with stipulations. I support the Second Amendment, but I am not a believer in hunting. I understand, like, let's just say you live in Alaska and you're like an off the grid type person and you hunt to feed yourself. Okay. But there's like a lot of rich celebrities or athletes that go like up to Wyoming or North Dakota to hunt, or out to Texas. And I don't like that. It's funny. I recently saw a Facebook post I posted about a year ago where I was just on a rant talking about just different things. And one of the comments I made was, I don't like people who hunt bears. Why would you ever hunt a bear? Are you going to eat a bear? Like shame on you. I don't like that. And so anyways, I'm not all about hunting. And I got so far on that tangent, I lost track of why I was talking about that. So I apologize.
I am against hunting, but I am for home defense. So
yeah. And that's pretty much where I'm at. That's pretty much where I'm at. But I just I enjoy the conversation, and it's always a lot of fun talking about different things. And I was saying I love animals. This is how far on a tangent I went. Wow, I was talking about my animals at home. But I am definitely allergic to cats, and I am allergic to most breeds of dogs. And so, and I am very allergic to dust as well. So when even the one dog we have that I am not allergic to, she'll be out back running around and playing in the dirt, and then she comes in, and then I'm dying the rest of the day. So I have very bad allergies, and it's unfortunate, but but anyways, we've got either Matt's house or if you're in California, we can watch movies here in my little cat-free sanctuary that I have going on here. So
there is that, yes.
Yes.
And then there's of course this. So if
oh no, 100%. And that's where with like Phillip is about to move to Texas. And I told him, we won't be able to sit next to each other and watch movies, but we can both watch them, have our homework, watch movies, and then do videos and talk about them. So it is definitely a nice venue for conversation. That's for sure.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right. So I guess we'll wrap it up then.
Oh, wait, but I have like 3 more hours worth of things to say, John.
Oh, okay. Hold on a minute. All right. Hit it. Go.
Yep. Yeah. Just call in sick for work now.
Yeah. No, I really do appreciate it. This is probably the longest one I've ever done. So, and I'll just divide it into 2 parts for people. So that's
nice. Yeah. No, and hopefully
my 2 videos for this coming week will be this.
Well, there you go. And hopefully everybody enjoys their conversation. And if not, you can suck it. Yeah, I kid. No, that's kind of, if you watch my channel enough, you'll understand the reference there. It's funny. Even I think, did even did Tom Devlin tell me to suck it or something? I get, you know, people that are aware of how much I say suck it enough that will come out of the blue with that. And but it's all a joke. I kid. But anyways, no, I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation. And if you do and you're not subscribed to me, come on over, check out the channel.
I will put a link down to your channel right down there.
Yeah. And when we're releasing, when we are on the cusp of releasing Clown Motel Massacre, we will definitely do something again for that.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. So, all right, everybody. That's another one. That's another one. So we got another one filmmaker down here. And
it's not one filmmaker, one film today. It's one filmmaker, 4 hours.
There you go. That works. two filmmakers, 4 hours. I guess that's yeah. I like yours better.
Yeah.
So all right. Okay, everybody. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. And I got I'm really hoping I have do you know who Yui Boll is? The filmmaker Yui Boll?
I would probably have to IMDb, in all honesty.
Like House of the Dead and Blood Rain and German director, but he's I'm supposed to be interviewing him soon, so I got another one lined up. Yeah, yeah, very excited about that. So, all right, everybody, I'll talk to you soon and see you later. And thank you for watching. Bye, everybody. Bye.
See ya. Bye, guys and gals
and gals
and trans.
Don't
want to exclude anybody.
No, we don't. All right, bye, everybody.